And rising, everybody. Natalie coming to lab, spirit and coffee. Got coffee here. Mm, check that out for those on Facebook. I got this cool instrument that makes it like creamy frothy. You just go bzzz, and then it makes it all like creamy. Anyway, make like almond milk whipped cream. Okay, so let's get started. It's been quite good morning. Who's on here? I don't know who that was, but good morning to you, or grand rising to you, I shall say. Grand rising. Good morning, Nana. Um, so I have been off for quite some time, and been taking breaks here and there. Just thinking that I have tons and tons and hours and hours of spirit and coffee, and was really talking about spiritual alchemy and what spiritual alchemy means. And so I was talking to my sister yesterday and sort of telling her why spiritual alchemy, why do um, we call this the practical use of esoteric wisdom, and why spiritual alchemy. And here's what I love about it. Spiritual alchemy is a process, right? It's an umbrella. And I've talked about this before. But what it does is it allows for everybody to have a voice, right? Not just one or two people, or just a certain religion or a certain process it's everything, right? It's all encompassing. And that's something that I really, good morning, Andrew, something that I really want to land in people and have them understand that in order for us to have a dialogue that creates a win-win situation among all nations, among all tribes, among all, I would say, religions, is to really look at it from the space or the scope of spiritual alchemy. Now, the occult and alchemy, when you go back, you're going to see that there are these images or pictures or symbolism. And you can even look into the systems of like the Kabbalah and all these things, and you can see the different way that reality was depicted, right? And how the transcendence of the soul or the soul of the map look different for everybody. And we see that these logos, right? Because it's, if you looked at it, it's logos, right? It's us trying to sort of depict what and how we view the world and create a storyline. And so we see these different pictures, and we can all say they fall with under the esoteric works that were hidden, right? The hidden wisdom that was sort of set aside. If we saw the cave paintings, right, or if you went back historically into these caves or even in the temples, you would see that there is scripture, or there's scripts, right, or logos, or hieroglyphics, however you wanted to call it, cuneiform texts. I mean, there's all these things that are trying to depict what reality is for people. And again, reality, right, is different from each person's perception and the way that we view the world. But alchemy gives us the opportunity to open up our mind and expand our way of viewing the world individually. So we have the opportunity to accept, to love, to honor those who may not think like we do. Okay, now nobody thinks exactly like we do, right? Go try to find someone who thinks exactly like you. Never going to happen. Never. Why? Because you're magnificently you. And they know people don't have your perception, your story, your upbringing. They can't see exactly through your eyes, right? That shade of blue might be a little deeper than the way that they view it. So the perception is different, right? Or could be different. And so the way that it sort of unfolds is going to be different for each individual. So we can't find someone who, but then we have people though who sort of get life the way we do, and they understand it, and we get along with those people. And then we have the other people who we don't get along with, right? The ones that totally don't see the world the way that we do, and we seem to be bumping up against them all the time. That is your greatest opportunity. Those are the individuals that you yourself should actually be in connection with. Because they're going to broaden your scope, your vision, your way of thinking, your understanding of the world. Okay. So, looking at those individuals and how they can help you to expand your perception and to start to, I don't want to say magnify, but create something different in your life and see things through a whole new lens. Good morning, Rose. Now, um, it's difficult, right? I was just thinking this morning because like I didn't have any one topic. I haven't been on here. I've actually been quite tired lately, just exhausted for whatever reason. No, I mean, there's no reason. My iron's good, everything's good. I'm just tired. I'm exhausted. And so I've been off quite a bit. I've been off from Spirit and Coffee, allowing myself rest and relaxation, which is critical. Thinking about, well, what do I even discuss? What do I talk about? Right? Because there are moments of silence, is the best way that I could say it. Moments of where your mind or your body or doesn't want to do anything, right? Or the motivation doesn't seem to be flowing through. There's resistance. And I was talking to a friend yesterday, my friend in India, about that, right? And I was like, I need an accountability buddy. So he and I have been accountability buddies for a while. He's working on his PhD, and I'm working on my master's, of course, and working on putting up courses. But I've been stagnant when it comes to these courses, right? Something seems to be blocked. I came to block myself from actually creating this thing and talking, right? Good morning, Frankie, and asking, well, why is there a blockage? What's going on? And he said something very profound, right? He said something very, very profound. He said, I think that this is something that you truly care about. I feel that this is something that's very significant and important to you. I said, yes, you're correct. I also think that because of that, you're maybe afraid that it might fail. And I said, partially, yes. I mean, part of it's afraid that I might fail, but also that I might succeed too. Because where does that put me? There's sort of this lens or microscope or people look at you, right? Like, like you're some kind of a specimen on a petri dish, right? And then, there's judgments and all that stuff. And that's what people do, right? That's how people are. They judge you. They're never going to like you. Some people love you. Some people want to say bad things about you. I mean, it's just life. That's the way life is. Can't deny it. And so I said, yeah, I guess you're right. And he's like, all right, well, put it together and get ready to fail. And I couldn't stop laughing. I mean, yes, that was probably the wisest thing I heard. You will fail. It's part of life. And I have failed. I understand what failure feels like. It's not like I've never failed before. It's not like I've never flopped on my face and whatever I've tried just didn't go right or didn't go good or had to readjust and reestablish and reset up. So, um, understanding that, right? The process of sometimes we're working on something that's significant for us, something that means something that has a deep, deep, deep connection to the internal us, right? Our internal purpose, maybe that we're trying to manifest out in the world. And it becomes a bit scary because there's that failure, number one, that comes in, but also the success. And it's both the same feeling, at least for me. The feeling of, yes, it will be successful. But then if it is successful, then I'm put under a microscope even more, right? There's more people want from me, right? It's grabbing at me more and more and more, and my capacity is only so big, right? This is where people tend to grow, and especially if they had like an empire, right? Or if they had like a big, huge organization or company, they tend to hire other people or farm things out just because they can't handle it all. It's just impossible. So there's that aspect, but then the aspect of the failure of maybe people are looking to be supported and then you fail, right? Good morning, health nut. I'm a health nut. I want to know how you're a health nut. Please explain. Explain. Are you work out or you eat healthy? Or you do both? Well, you have to if you're a health nut, right? You got to eat healthy. So you like my Baby Yoda shirt. I'm a Baby Yoda. So looking at that crazy, crazy, crazy. And I've been in this weird state and I don't even know how to describe it. I can't seem to overcome it for some reason, but it's a state of paralyzation where I feel completely paralyzed in what I'm up to. There's something that needs to be adjusted, something that I'm missing. That's how I feel. Something that I could do more, or I'm not doing enough, or everything seems to be overwhelming. So I don't know how people are feeling, and I sort of want to check in, and you guys could chime in on this. I feel like I can't get everything all done that I want to get done. And time, right? I talk about time a lot. Time seems to be speeding up for some reason. Now, this is in my own perception, right? Where it's like, I feel, well, no, let's just put it this way. I feel like I'm allowing my time to be taken away by things that are not significant, not important. Now, how and with what? I'm actually this morning, I was very angry at Facebook. I'm starting to be on the opposite end of the social media. Like, I love social media, but I don't love social media. I love it in the fact that it gives us the opportunity to interconnect into a web and be able to expand and hopefully be in front of an audience that we weren't prior, right? Perhaps. It gives us the expansion and scope. But what's happened is this addiction to social media, which is really irritating the hell out of me. To the point that I want to throw my phone in the trash can and I want to get off of everything and I want to disconnect from the entire system completely and disappear. That's how I feel from everything and everyone. Okay. And I think it's partially because it's such a false modulation of who we are and what we are as people. Thinking about the connections we used to have to Earth, the connections that we used to have around gatherings, around coming as together as a community, not in cyberspace, but in real time and space, where the connection has become so transactional and almost to the point where I'm starting to get angry. I can feel the anger starting to surface from this. Why? Because we spend so much time on social media, not enough time with people. And I think I'm feeling the impacts of that at this point. Right? And I think it's even exhausting me. As you can tell, even in this podcast, everything is all over the place, right? So I get on here and I'm authentically me, right? I don't have a script. People are like, well, do you have a script? No, I don't have a script. I just get on and talk. I get on and talk. I talk about reality, about the real, about authentically what is going on. How do we overcome? Because here's what happens. People will script a podcast, but what good is that? I mean, I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not saying don't script your podcast. I'm saying how is that the practical use of esoteric wisdom? No, practical use of esoteric wisdom is being authentic, speaking in the moment, not having a script. Speaking from my authentic self, and you can see that this particular podcast or where I'm in my life is totally like all over the place, right? Trying to find grounding, trying to find footing. So how do I find footing? And that's why I do Spirit and Coffee and I'm authentic, because I want to show people that when you use the process or when you find your process, you can manifest and get the results that you want in your life, but going through the process from beginning to end. So yeah, I'm all over the place. That's really what you're hearing, is me being all over the place. Hopefully it's entertaining enough for you guys to stay on here. You're like, what is this girl talking about? Well, she's kind of talking about everything. It's not focused, it's not aimed. That would be in a state of chaos, right? Which is a very feminine quality. And you could say that right now I'm probably more leaning in the feminine than into the masculine, which is the driver, right? The masculine drives, is focused, is intentional. And for me, not being able to tap into that focus, just not able to tap in for some reason, have no zero motivation. I'm trying to wrap my mind around why that is occurring in me. It's a new energy, a new feeling. I imagine it's around organization and learning how to organize. Perhaps it's a cleansing or getting rid of, looking at my space and thinking, what do I need to get rid of that no longer serves me? This is a process that you can use to get rid of that energy that's not serving you, that's kind of tying you down. If you saw it like a weight, if you got all of the stuff, right, that was weighing you down, so basically you put, let's just even say you put it in a trash bag that could hold it all. Okay, not multiple trash bags, just one trash bag that can hold all the weight of all the shit that you have. I'm talking to myself, right? All the shit that I have, and put it there that I don't necessarily need or want. It literally would probably drown me if I tied it to my ankle and put myself in a river. In other words, I'm drowning myself in my own stuff, which means it's time to get rid of, cleanse, release, and let go of. I just got rid of 2 bags of stuff. I mean, it's crazy how much we accumulate, and that accumulation becomes a weight that actually pulls us down and drowns us. So it's getting rid of and allowing yourself to release all of that energy. And that is what I get to do, because I am feeling too weighted down at this point. I feel like there's too much stuff in my space, and I feel like I can't breathe. Now, once I figure this process and figure out what it is, I start to open up the space. And this is really how we deal with overwhelm and how we deal with places that feel too claustrophobic, or where you feel like you're closing in and you can't breathe. Just look at your space around you. Is there too much in your space? How do you get rid of the stuff in your space so that you can have an empty canvas to paint upon, an empty canvas to refill? Because that's what we do. We paint. It's like a canvas. You paint on it, right? You cover it with stuff and then you give it away. Then you get a new canvas and then you paint on it and then you give it away. Okay, so there you have it, the All Over the Place podcast today. I will be starting my master's program. I imagine the books we're going to be reading are going to have some information that I will share with you guys. Thank you guys for being a pillar of support, whoever's on here, which is like no one, but that's okay. I always laugh when I'm just like talking to myself. Everybody's like, all right, I'm done with this one. Usually these moments though of silence in my brain means that something big's going to happen, at least internally in my processes, that I then go crazy, but have no one to share all of it with. So I get on here and hopefully share it with you guys, and hopefully you guys pick up some of what is supposed to be there. So there you go. I love you guys. Have a magnificent, it's Tuesday. Have a great Tuesday. Blessings, love, and light to you. And keep doing what you're doing, and just love. Just a big hug to you. Okay? All right. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.